Hi, I'm Dr. Rebecca Heiss, stress physiologist and author of Springboard. Welcome to our course on using stress as your competitive advantage. Most of us have been taught that stress is something to avoid or manage. We've internalized messages that stress is harmful, even deadly. But after years of research, I've discovered something revolutionary. Stress isn't actually the enemy.
That's fascinating, Rebecca. So we've been looking at stress all wrong?
Exactly. Think about the last time you felt stressed before a big presentation or an important meeting. Your heart rate increased, you might have felt a knot in your stomach, maybe your palms got sweaty. Our culture has trained us to interpret these sensations as negative. But what if they're actually your body preparing you to perform at your best?
I experienced that just last week before a sales pitch to a major client. My team had spent weeks preparing, but in those final moments, I could feel my stress levels skyrocketing.
And how did the pitch go?
We actually landed the account, but I still felt like I needed to get my stress under control.
That's exactly the mindset shift we need to make. We don't need calm, we need control. In our research with over 750 adults in 2024, we found that most Americans rate their stress between 75 to 90 out of 100 at any given moment. That's like living in a constant state of alert. But here's what's even more interesting. 58% of people reported stressing out even more when trying to deal with their stress.
So we're stressing about being stressed?
Precisely. And that's why traditional stress management techniques often backfire. When we try to suppress or eliminate stress, we often end up feeling worse when we can't. Instead, what if we learn to use stress as energy that propels us forward?
I have no doubt this will be useful in our personal and professional lives.
First, let's look at why traditional stress management approaches aren't working. The global wellness industry has exploded to over $4 trillion. More people than ever are meditating, doing yoga, and seeking stress reduction. Yet rates of anxiety and depression continue to rise dramatically.
This happens in the corporate world all the time.
Yeah, companies invest millions in wellness programs, but employee burnout rates keep climbing. A 2024 study in the Industrial Relations Journal examined 90 workplace wellness programs and interventions across 46,000 individuals. The shocking finding was that most of these programs had no positive effect. Some even made things worse.
That's hard to believe. So those mindfulness sessions and stress management workshops we've been running
may not be helping in the way you think. Let me share a concrete example. Imagine your company is going through a restructuring. Everyone's worried about potential layoffs. Management brings in a stress management consultant who teaches breathing techniques and positive thinking.
I've seen this exact scenario.
But the underlying stressor, job insecurity, hasn't changed. Now employees are not only stressed about their jobs, but also feeling like they're failing at managing their stress. It creates a double burden.
So what's the alternative?
We need to shift our entire relationship with stress. Rather than seeing it as something to eliminate, we need to view it as energy we can harness and direct. Think about elite athletes or top performers in any field. They don't excel by avoiding stress, they excel by using it.
Like an Olympic athlete breaking a world record during the highest pressure moment, not during practice.
Exactly. And this isn't just about high performers in the athletic space. Every one of us can learn to use stress as a springboard, rather than seeing it as an obstacle. To understand why our current approach to stress isn't working, we need to look at the Yerkes-Dodson curve, which has dominated our thinking about stress and performance for over a century. This upside-down U curve suggests that to reach peak performance, we need an intermediate level of stress or arousal. Too little stress, and we're bored and unmotivated. Too much stress, and we're overwhelmed and ineffective.
So according to this model, we're trying to find and maintain that sweet spot of just the right amount of stress?
Yes, and that's precisely the problem. Finding and maintaining that perfect balance is nearly impossible. What's too much stress for one person isn't enough for another. And the amount of stress that's optimal changes depending on the task, your experience level, and countless other factors.
I've dealt with this as a team manager. The same deadline that motivates one employee completely paralyzes another.
Exactly. And that's why I've developed a new model, the Fear Less Stress Formula, that helps us to use stress as a springboard to launch above and beyond the limitations of the Yerkes-Dodson curve. Instead of trying to manage stress by moving up or down this curve, We use the energy from stress to catapult ourselves forward into higher performance, deeper purpose, and greater joy.
So, walk us through how this works in a typical business scenario. Say, I'm a manager with an impossible deadline from a key client.
The traditional approach would be to try to calm yourself down, maybe do some deep breathing and attempt to reduce your stress. The fearless approach is completely different. You acknowledge the stress, recognize that your racing heart and heightened awareness are actually your body preparing you to perform, and then channel that energy toward meeting the challenge.
That's a completely different mindset.
It is, and our research found that over a 30-day period, 85% of participants who used this approach demonstrated a reduction in their perceived stress scale scores, and 40% reported an increase in their heart rate variability, which is a key indicator of stress resilience.
Those are impressive results. So instead of fighting against stress, we're actually using it to our advantage.
Exactly. In the next lessons, we'll dive deeply into each step of the Fearless Stress formula.